If you found this video, I assume either you want to know how to counter Fernando or who to use Fernando as a counter for. First, I will lay out the basic tips of playing against Fernando. This should also give you an idea of how you should play as Fernando around others. Before we get into Fernando though, we should understand that the basic layout of role countering. Very generally, your damage role will counter the front lines. The front lines will counter the flank role. The flank role will counter the support role and damage role. The support role will then counter damage. Again, this is just the basic layout of countering with roles and is not absolute. Without further ado, let's get into it. Fernando, the self-appointed knight, uses his flame lance, fireball, shield and charge to become an amazing frontliner. Some basic tips for playing against Fernando are to keep him at a distance because of the flamethrower range. His flamethrower also reduces his movement speed by 35%, so you will want to take full advantage of this when positioning around him. While dropping very low on health, be careful of his fireball and charge. His flame lance may have that short range, but not his fireball. Fernando's shield moves with him, so attack his 6 when you cannot break his shield. Doing this allows you to turn around Fernando and leave him vulnerable to your team. The best champions to counter with Fernando are Skye, Maeve, Lex, Strix and Ashe. The best champions to counter Fernando is Bomb King, Drogoz, Sha Lin, Torvald or Khan. Skye's ultimate will break Fernando's shield. If it gets dropped near you, run for cover. Skye has a high DPS when fighting at close quarters. You will want to make sure you turn around to block her shots or charge away from her. When charging away from an enemy, be sure not to run away from your team and maintain position as a whole. Maeve will always use her speed against you. She will also use the high ground and distance. Close in on her and try to lead her into tight, walled environments, where it is easier for you to use your flamethrower, fireball, and charge. Lex will want to use his ultimate when you put down your shield and have under 60% health, so you will want to keep an eye out for him setting up his ultimate in such situations. Strix can be a massive threat to your team, so you will want to minimize this with your shield as much as possible. You can use charge more often than Ashe, and the charge allows you to negate Ashe's knockback. When Drogoz ults, you will want to use your ult just before getting hit by it. This will allow you to counter the ult. It is important to note that Immortal will protect both you and nearby teammates from Drogoz's Dragon Punch. Drogoz has a great AO damage. That means that he is strong on point as tanks. Salvo does insane damage to your shield. Wait for Drogoz to use his salvo before pulling it out. When using talents other than Aegis, if his team is not focusing you, you might save your shield if they decide to push. When trying to counter Bomb King with Immortal, make sure to activate your ultimate only after his voice line is over and Bomb King is rolling in your direction, or else he can wait it out and detonate after your ultimate has expired. Don't be afraid to get into Sha Lin's face as a Fernando in a 1v1 situation. Fernando's burn crowd control is not cancelled by Sha Lin's withdrawal, and with the Scorch legendary you can down him in no time. You will only want to engage Torvald when his health is low. He can disarm you and make you an easy prey for his damage dealers. Try to simply avoid him and focus on the backlines. You will want to take advantage of his lack of mobility as much as possible. Khan has an easier time taking care of other tanks. Use Fernando's charge to reposition yourself if he happens to be putting pressure on you, and try to protect your teammates from his ultimate by using your shield. Make sure you like and subscribe to receive notifications of the next episode. Until then, check out some other videos from one of our channels.